Hello, friends, and welcome back to Scaling Stories. Today, I've got some more highly upvoted posts from Best of Redditor updates. Like always, I'll be reading you the posts and giving you my opinions, and I'll also be working on building up my forever world at the same time, so I hope you enjoy. Also, I'm currently only in Spotify's creator program, so watching on there would help me out a ton. Thank you so much for your support. Today's first story comes from the Relationship Advice subreddit. It was posted by Throwaway99D58AW on July 3rd, 2019, and was titled, "Wife started to hate me and our kids out of a sudden, and now she's left us." Hi, this is my first time posting, and I am not a native English speaker. I'm also sorry for my mess of a text, but I'm just at the end mentally. My 38 male wife, 36 female, started to become increasingly hostile towards me, the kids, and her own parents. Our kids are 12, 9, and 4 years old. I first started to notice it around 1 week ago when our 12-year-old tripped while playing and fell on her face. I ran to her to reassure her she was okay, but my wife didn't really bother. She just sat on the bench and watched me and our daughter. That evening, I asked her why she showed no reaction, and she shrugged it off and told me that I looked after her, so it's okay. That's not her normal behavior at all. And if that had happened a couple of months ago, she would have dropped everything and immediately looked after our daughter. A day after that incident, we ate dinner, and the 9-year-old asked her to pass him the ketchup. She didn't pass it, but responded with, "Why do you want to eat our ketchup?" That caught me off guard, and I was extremely baffled. He asked if it isn't also his ketchup, but she insisted that it was hers and her family's ketchup. I thought she was making a joke, but she looked extremely stern and sincere, so I gave him the ketchup. The rest of the day was uneventful, but she kept looking at me and the kids in this, I don't really know, aggressive vision, as if we were a threat to her. During the last week, I received only one kiss, not a single hug or any other kind of affection. And even if she sometimes smiles at me, it just looks extremely forced. Sometimes she just looks at me as if she searches for something. Obviously, I asked her a couple of times if something was wrong, but she always denied it and said everything is fine. The problem is, if she was only hostile towards me, I could somewhat, in some way, understand it. Maybe I annoy her. Maybe she doesn't love me anymore. Or she thinks I'm cheating, or I don't effing know. But she also seems to hate or at least be neutral towards the children. When they talk about school, she doesn't care. When they have problems, she doesn't care. She doesn't tuck them in at night, and I tell her kids that she's just in a bad mood and has a lot on her plate. But obviously, they know, as sure as I do, that something isn't right. It got really out of hand when, 2 days ago, her mother called me, asking me if something is wrong with her daughter. Apparently, she doesn't, or at least only briefly, answers her texts and doesn't want to meet her anymore. She told me that my wife told her that she isn't her real mother, which, of course, is something horrible to say, and we both don't know why she said it or what exactly it meant. When she asked my wife why, she just said that she excused herself and said that it was a joke. She never, or at least rarely, had an argument with her mom. We all had a great relationship up to this week, and I just can't, in any possible way, find out what changed. It kept me up at night because my wife just feels like a different person. Now, I thought about a mental illness, maybe some form of early Alzheimer's, but it doesn't seem to fit her behavior. She had depression when she was younger, but that's 10 years ago. She was as lovely as one can be, not even 2 weeks ago. There are a lot of other instances of her behavior, but I don't have the energy to write it down right now. That brings me to yesterday. I sat her down and asked her if something is wrong, and I need an answer now, or otherwise, we will see a psychiatrist. She started telling me that everything was fine, and she just has to act as she always does. That sentence made me feel sick to my stomach because I didn't know what it meant. Is she seeing someone? Is someone effing holding her hostage? Or what is happening? I asked her what she meant, but she just brushed it off again, saying that she is okay. I then told her that we're seeing a psychologist and she started screaming at me that I can't make her. I insisted, so she threw a cup at me, got up, and told me that she wants her real family back. I don't effing know what that means. We didn't change anything. Everything is as it was a month ago. She grabbed her purse and ran out of the house. She returned a couple of hours later and told me she is sorry for how she acted. She did a complete 360 and said everything is good now. She kissed me and told me she will explain it tomorrow, but she is just tired now. When we got to bed later, she kept looking at me as if I'm a stranger, but I was also extremely exhausted from everything and just fell asleep. It's morning now, and she left the house. I can't find her, and it looks like she packed some stuff of hers. Some jackets, her purse, 2 pairs of shoes. I called her parents, her friends, everyone she knows, but they all haven't seen her. Her friends all told me that they haven't had contact with her in the last week. Should I call the police now? Have some of you experienced something similar? I just don't know what to do. I have never felt this helpless. Scaling Stories Corner. Okay, so if I'm OP, I think I would definitely call the police here. I don't really understand what is happening to his wife, but I think something very wrong must be happening for her to run out of the house, come back a couple of hours later, say everything is fine, and then the next time OP wakes up, she's packed her stuff and ran away. Like, this entire thing highly suggests that something is terribly wrong is happening to her mentally. I'm not sure exactly what it is, and I've never seen anything similar in any other Reddit story, but her random disdain towards OP and their family is super unsettling, and this is a very urgent matter, so the police need to be called ASAP before she hurts someone else or maybe herself. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, "Psych nurse here. You need to look up capgrass delusion. This is what it sounds like is happening. Call police now. She may be in danger." Commenter 2 says, "Homie, this is way the F above our pay grade. This sounds like your wife is having some serious mental issues. Sounds like she is going through a really bad case of derealization. It is possible she is also schizophrenic. Possibly she has capgras delusion. Possibly early stages of dementia. She needs help in the worst way, or she is going to end up doing something really effing bad." OP later adds an edit to his post. "I called the police a couple of minutes after the first people here told me to. The police responded, and they took my story very seriously and said they would search for her immediately. I told them a couple of places she might be. I waited at home and distracted the children, saying that their mom took some time for herself. Her parents are at my house and are playing with the children. They are just as destroyed and unnerved as I am. They found my wife an hour ago at the local park, 5 hours after they started searching for her. It didn't look like she was fleeing or in a hurry, but just waiting, sitting on a bench. They told me, however, that she was extremely hostile towards the police and punched an officer. She is now in a psychiatric clinic, but I'm not allowed to meet her, nor is anyone else. Doctors are caring for her and will call me as soon as they know more. Thanks to everyone who replied. I'm extremely worried, and I'm reading up on all the mental illnesses you have posted. I just hope it is something they can cure quickly. I still feel like I'm in a bad dream." Update 2 days later. A lot of people seem to care, and I got a ton of encouraging messages, so I will post an update for you. We live in Northern Europe, for those who asked. Thanks to everyone who gave me their advice. A lot of you have assumed schizophrenia or the rare capgras delusion. Some of you assumed she was cheating, which is something I won't even address. Thinking about it, capgras really fit the symptoms, but I couldn't just accept that. Still hoping she was somehow effing with us, or that it was something mild and temporary, and I just overreacted. After they took her in, I drove to the mental institute to give them an exact explanation of what happened in the last week. The psychiatrist assumed some sort of schizophrenia. They told me they will look after her, and I should go home to my children. I felt like I was drunk the entire time. I couldn't close a single eye at night. The psychiatrist called me yesterday evening and asked me to come to her office. I left my children with their grandparents and drove for what felt like an eternity. She told me straight up that she strongly assumes that it's capgrass. She never saw a case of capgrass before, but fits everything she gathered. She explained to me how the past 2 days went down. My wife arrived there, being extremely hostile. She was put in a safe room where she couldn't hurt herself. She calmed down after a couple of hours, and the psychiatrist was able to talk to her. The good news was that she quickly opened up and explained to her what she thinks. She knows that her family and most of her friends have been swapped by clones. She assumed that we, the clones, have sent police officers to get her and that she was scared of what we might do to her. She fled in the first place because she felt that we might attack her, but mostly to get some space. She still isn't sure if the clones are malicious or not. That explains why she was distrusting me and always searched for some signs in me and the kids. My wife said that we act exactly like the real ones and how perfect our disguise was, but she knew that we aren't real because she didn't feel any love towards me, the kids, or her own parents. Writing this down feels like a lance piercing through my chest. She also told her how she was trying to hide her distrust of us because she couldn't be sure if we know that she knows that we aren't the real we. Her delusion that we've been swapped came to her one day before I noticed it. 10 days ago, she woke up, looked at me, and knew that I wasn't the same anymore, not the real one. Same with the kids, her parents, and her friends. She hadn't had those thoughts before. She asked the psychiatrist if she knows who swapped us, why it happened, or if this happens often. She tried to avoid answering her question because she wasn't sure how my wife would react if she gave in or took her out of her delusion. My wife asked her when she can get out again. The psychiatrist asked her if she wants to get out, and she answered that she's okay being here. It gives her some comfort being with professionals, and now she has time to think. It helps that my wife is a nurse and that she respects doctors a lot. The psychiatrist explained to me how they will try to slowly deconstruct her delusion and that it can take a short or a very long time until she fully recovers. She explained to me that it's possible that she might never truly recover, but the fact that she opened up about it and doesn't necessarily feel scared is a good sign. I'm still not allowed to see her, as it could make her panic. She appears to be completely clear of mind about everything else. She knows names, dates, places, facts, and everything she knew before. Only the thought that we aren't the real ones is now a fact for her. Now I wait until they have some good or bad news about how she develops. Writing all of this down really helped me. I'm trying to wrap my head around this situation, and I'm mostly scared for her and the children. I can't hide how distressed I am and that my wife isn't at home, so I explained to them that she is in a mental hospital and she has to recover. The 4-year-old doesn't really understand, but the other two took it surprisingly well. It helps that they heard all these morbid stories my wife told them from the hospital, I guess. They asked me when they can see her, and I told them that I don't know, but I hope it will be soon. I haven't felt this empty, and I don't know if I should be sad or angry. F. Thanks to everyone here who helped me. I feel like I'm in a waiting room at the dentist. It's so surreal. I feel better knowing what the problem is, but worse not knowing when it ends. ScalingStories Corner. Oh my god. That is freaking horrifying. I've never heard of capgrass delusion until this post, so it's a first for me too, but I can't imagine how terrible that must be for OP to have his significant other literally denied the existence of both himself and their kids. I mean, and her parents and their friends too. That's just crazy. And hopefully, and I think hoping is pretty much the best anyone can really do here. Hopefully there's a reliable treatment plan to get his wife back to normal, because I'm not sure what you're supposed to do if you're OP and a treatment plan doesn't work. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. Commenter 1 says, I felt like I was reading my husband's post. I went through something very similar back in March. I was hospitalized for 10 days. It is like living in a psychological thriller. My heart truly aches for you and your family. I know my husband had a lot of the same emotions you are having. Since March, I've returned to work, have been taking excellent care of myself and my children, and I make sure I never miss my medication or an appointment with my psychiatrist. Life is good and back to normal. This is the first time I've shared any of my story. I just wanted to give you some hope. Much love to you all. Commenter 2 says, Husband here, OP. Let me start by saying it does get better. It's truly effing scary not knowing what is going on in your partner's head. A lot of what you are describing is very similar to what commenter 1 and I went through. She was convinced I was me from an alternative Earth, and that I came through a portal she had opened, and that our entire family, including parents and our kids, were also from this alternate Earth. After a brief stay at the hospital, she came out the other side completely back to normal. It's amazing what some rest and a solid medication regimen can do for mental health. She and I have spent a lot of time talking about everything, and all I can say is to make sure that you are there for her, as well as taking care of yourself. No matter how scary this is for you right now, she firmly believes that her family has been replaced and is out to get her. This will go away, but that fear takes a long time to heal from. As much as she needs help, so do you. Rely on your family and friends, and make sure you take time to keep your head on straight, and don't be afraid to talk to a professional about this yourself. You are not alone in this. The specific diagnosis may be rare, but delusions and psychiatric diseases are not. Take care of your family, and things will get better. Second update 3 months later. Hi, you all. This will be the final update. It's been 3 months, and I feel like I can give another update. Most, if not all, of you probably don't care or have forgotten, but hey, if anyone wants to know, I haven't responded to most private messages because I didn't feel good enough talking about it. I still kinda don't. To address the elephant in the room, my wife is back with us. She is at home and well, and she laughs about the whole incident. More than I do, to be honest, but that's just me. She immediately started her treatment at the Mental Health Institute. At first, they kept her sealed off from me and the rest of her family and friends. They taught her relations and how the brain works and how to process love and affection and all stuff like that. Meanwhile, I was at home and biting my fingernails away while explaining to everyone what is happening. Turns out that many people I know and thought highly of don't believe in psychological damage and mental problems, so that was fun talking about too. Anyway, this isn't really about me here. They somehow convinced her that she has a delusion. Apparently, she almost immediately believed them, but said she still doesn't feel anything towards us, even if she knows that it's a delusion. Her trust in doctors and nurses made all of this so much simpler, and I'm so grateful for this. They worked with her more and let her first talk to her parents over the phone. She started gaining trust again, and they kind of rebonded. Later, they allowed me to talk to her, and I wasn't able to say a single word because I basically broke down in tears when I heard her saying, or more like asking, a simple, hello? She told me it will be fine, and she just needs some more time, and that the doctors know what they are doing. I regained some strength and told her she should call whenever she wants to. Later, she talked to the kids, and it really helped her. She laughed with them, told them jokes about mental health, and recollected some memories. Gradually, they let her meet her friends, then her parents, her siblings, and finally me and the kids. That was almost 5 weeks after she got turned in. When she saw me and the kids, she started to cry too and kissed all of us. She said she was sorry, but I assured her there is nothing to be sorry about. They still kept her for a couple of days for some final tests and let her finally go. She got back into work fairly quickly, and we have the great relation that we had before all of this. The kids are happy, still don't 100% know what exactly happened. There are still some traces of distrust in herself. She questions her feelings more often and glooms over stuff, but all in all, everything turned out to be good. Also, it's still not 100% clear why it happened at all. She can't recall banging her head against anything or anything different. It feels good writing this down. I wanted to thank everyone who answered and helped me on the initial post. Thanks to the people that almost immediately diagnosed her and made me call the police. I'm sorry that I didn't answer your private messages. I was quite busy, and talking about the mental health of my wife feels weird and bitter to me. She knows about this post and about the last post and sends her love too. Scaling Stories Corner. This whole saga was way outside of my expectations, or like way out of my depth. So I can't really say much about the struggles OP, his wife, or his family must have gone through, but I will say that I'm glad that his wife seems to have regained her normal self at the end of it, and that OP and his family can now move past this. Hopefully it stays that way, and I hope no one in their family has to experience fear like that ever again. Okay, friends, so that concludes our first story of the day. Next up, we have a story from the Am I Overreacting subreddit. It was posted by jckalc on May 19th, 2026, and was titled, Am I Overreacting for Thinking My Girlfriend Might Be Cheating? Okay, so this post starts off with a text message exchange between OP and his girlfriend. Start of text messages. OP says, I love you so much, babe. Sleep well if you haven't already. OP says, and they turned out good, so I'll bake you some when I see you. GF says, I love you too. Also, I've been trying to save for tickets so that I can see you soon, hopefully. OP says, tickets for what? GF says, plane, duh. GF says, can't wait to give you so many hugs and kisses. GF says, maybe I can come for Christmas, but plane tickets are more expensive around that time, right? So, I don't know. OP says, answer call, please? OP says, I'll be quick. I'm so confused. OP says, question mark, question mark, question mark? OP says, babe, please? OP says, I'm not mad or anything. OP says, I'm not able to sleep. I'll just keep thinking about it. OP says, 5 minutes maximum, I promise. OP says, real quick, please. Today, 4:52 a.m. OP says, hey, I don't know if you're awake or not, but I haven't slept yet because I've been thinking, and it doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to accuse you of anything, but I feel like you're not being honest, to be honest. OP says, I don't want to accuse you of anything, but it sounds suspicious and doesn't add up. You never mentioned her to me before, and I would have helped you get a ticket. So why didn't you just ask if you've been wanting to go for a while? OP says, and the text just sounds so romantic. I know you don't kiss your friends. And if you somehow do without me ever noticing, then why would you give so many and be like, I can't wait? OP says, I'm sorry, but I have a bad gut feeling that you're lying and actually cheating on me, or at least emotionally cheating, because you're saying you love the person and want to kiss them. I don't know. I feel very off about it. OP says, also, I do really love you a lot and want us to work. Please just be honest, and I promise we can work it out. I love you so much, babe. Today, 8:54 a.m. GF says, redacted text. GF says, are you serious? I already told you the truth. Why would I lie about seeing a friend? That's weird. I'm obviously not cheating. GF says, why would I cheat and throw away our whole relationship? GF says, you're just accusing me of cheating because you're projecting, and you're cheating and trying not to feel guilty. GF says, time. I'm not close enough with any of my friends now to do that, but I used to do it with Penny because she was my bestie and we were tight. GF says, you're probably cheating right now. OP says, I'm not cheating on you. I just felt like it didn't make sense, and I'm just getting that gut feeling. Sorry, I do love you a lot. OP says, can I still see you on Saturday? We can talk and I'll try to make it up for you. End of text messages. Am I overreacting for thinking this text is about her cheating on me? Last night, My girlfriend, 24 female, and I, 25 male, had this conversation, which made me think she was cheating on me because it mentioned romantic stuff with someone she has to fly to. After asking her to call me, she finally did and explained that she thought she was replying to her childhood female friend, whom she hasn't seen in years, who she apparently always used to kiss. We've been together for 4 years, and she's never mentioned this friend before. I believed her because she's never given me a reason to be suspicious before, but I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I texted her just before 5 a.m., when I usually get ready for work, to let her know I have a gut feeling of doubt. She read it and didn't respond until 9 a.m., and my reply doesn't say delivered, so I'm not sure if she blocked me or not. When I try to call her, it rings twice, then goes to voicemail. I tried sending it as a green bubble text, and it won't, so I'm not sure if she blocked me or my phone is the issue, even though I can text others. We're supposed to be moving in together in less than 2 months, and I was planning on proposing if things went well for a year or two. I'm not sure if I'm reading into it too much and making up the worst case scenarios. She said I was projecting, but I'm not cheating on her, never have, so I know she's mad at me for not believing her and is now throwing it back at me. This is something she usually does, so that's why I didn't address it much when I replied to her. I feel so bad for feeling this way, but I can't help it. I'm so scared of losing her because she's amazing, and we had a great relationship until now, I suppose. I've only told one person so far, my coworker, because I don't want rumors to spread in my friend group if I tell my friends. My coworker, who suggested I post here, said it seems like she is cheating and is getting defensive about it. I feel very conflicted. Am I overreacting? I can't stop thinking about it. The blocked out text is about her health problems because I said I didn't know if she was awake or not. Edit. To add, we are not long distance. We met at university and have always lived less than 20 minutes from each other and see each other almost every weekend. That's why I was confused in the first image, because she wouldn't need to book a flight to see me. ScalingStories Corner. So, it sounds like to me, based on several other stories I've read, that OP's girlfriend is the one projecting. Like a cheater is usually the one to project and call other people a cheater when they are cheating. It just sounds super sus to me that OP has never heard of this so-called really good friend before when they've been in a relationship for 4 years. I would be hesitant to move in together because trust is very much broken right now. If I was OP, I might even feel like I want to ask for the friend's number to call, introduce myself and see what's up and if the story is adding up. I mean, that does seem like the easiest way to prove that everything his girlfriend is saying is true, but I don't know if that's a little unhinged. Now, here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, "What are the other reasons you suspect she's cheating? I don't know. This sounds normal to me." OP says, "Mainly that I've never heard of this friend before, and on the call, she didn't want to give me more info on the person other than that they were childhood friends. I don't expect or intend to know every single person she interacts with, but I just thought, after 4 years, I would have heard her name once. I think her reaction to me asking about the friend, refusing to answer, is what made me feel off after the call." Commenter 2 says, "You said you guys have been together 4 years? Well, ask her to show you the text thread between her and this friend. That could simply clear all of this up." OP says, "I was planning on asking her about that on Saturday, if she still wants to see me. I tried searching the friend's name on her Instagram and Facebook, only socials my girlfriend has, and she isn't following anyone by that name. Also, she refused to tell me about the friend on the phone call, which is what made me start being actually suspicious. I wasn't interrogating, but it felt like she was being defensive or mad at me for trying to ask anything about the friend, so I don't know." Commenter 3 says, "Yeah, super weird. I agree with everyone in the comments. I'm so sorry. It's weird because she has never mentioned her friend before. Don't you think she would have mentioned seeing an old friend of hers? Like, oh, I'm so excited, kind of thing? But she did not until then. None of it makes sense, and I am really sorry. Glad you found out before you moved in with her. OP says, yeah, that's what made me more suspicious after the call, because she usually tells me about her friends, all their drama and gossip, but never mentioned this person or wanting to see them. I would have gotten her tickets if she wanted to fly to a friend, and she knows that, as she usually does ask me to buy her things. The more I think about it, the more it makes no sense. I'm just struggling to wrap my head around it because this has never happened before between us. Commenter 4 says, her response makes me think she's cheating more than anything else. Are you in a long distance relationship? 4 years is a long time. Are you together a lot? OP says, yep. We've always been dating in person, as we met at the same university. We see each other every weekend and sometimes once during the week, depending on work/study schedule. That's why I initially got so confused at the plane ticket text, because she wouldn't need a ticket to come see me. At the start, I was more confused than suspicious, but then after the phone call is when I started getting suspicious of cheating. Commenter 5 says, sorry, dude, but she's cheating. As much as women are affectionate and loving with platonic girlfriends, two things are off here. The tone is not one women use when talking to one another, and her reaction was to immediately accuse you, which is such a cliched cheater response. She's gotten no contact to try and summon up a person for the alibi story, and or to get her lying ducks in a row. I'm sorry. I really always want to see the good or the other possibilities, but this is just what it seems, I fear. Look after yourself. And if you stay, ask for more on the friend. Even just show you her friend's socials if you don't want to demand to see messages. If she's done nothing wrong, that will blow up the relationship. But that's if still. What plans have you at Christmas? Had she already made excuses with you or started to lay groundwork? And if so, was it a different story? Like, I might go see family? That would be proof to me. OP says, no Christmas excuses yet, but we've spent Christmas together for the past 2 years with each other's family as they all live close to. After the call, when I learned the friend's name, I tried searching her up on my girlfriend's social media following/friends list, and she doesn't have anyone by that name. So I was going to ask about that on Saturday. I was also thinking of maybe asking her mom about it casually to suss it out, but then I would feel bad going behind her back to her family like that, so I'm conflicted. Something like, GF's name seems to be excited about visiting childhood friend's name. Update 1 day later. OP opened up with more screenshots of text exchanges with his girlfriend, so I'll read those first. Start of text messages. OP says, I'd rather leave and us be amicable because of all our friends. GF says, you're actually whack as F for throwing us away over nothing. GF says, I can't believe I wasted 4 effing years with you, and you can't even give me another chance after I've known you for so long. GF says, you're actually so heartless and dumb. OP says, honestly, if you're not going to stop, I'll block you. I'm getting really tired of this and want to try to move on. GF says, actually, KYS, effing a-hole. OP says, and I'll sort out all the house stuff tomorrow. GF says, yeah, you want to block me to move on to the next BTCH. GF says, you effing projecting cheater. GF says, you wanted to find a reason to break up with me because you're probably cheating and have been the whole 4 years. GF says, and I never even did anything like actual sex, while you're probably actually effing everyone you meet. GF says, you've probably have sex with every woman at work on night shift. GF says, who the F works 12-hour overnight shifts when most people work 8 hours? GF says, you're probably are using 4 hours to cheat. GF says, thanks for wasting my time. GF says, just remember, You're the one who is breaking us apart because you have forgiveness issues when I never physically had sex. GF says, if other couples can forgive each other for actual sex, then you can just forgive me for kissing other guys, you know. It's not even a big deal in comparison, but you're treating me like I did that to you. OP says, blocking you, wishing you the best. I'll email you anything regarding the house, but it should all be fine. OP says, projecting that I'm cheating after you were caught cheating is interesting, but I've slept on it, and I'm not going to give you a second chance for something you shouldn't have done in the first place. OP says, and I'd rather be with someone who values me enough to be honest, even if that takes a while to find. You couldn't even at least come up with a better lie, but whatever, not my problem anymore. End of text messages. Thanks, everyone who helped me in my original post. In hindsight, I seem delusional, but I think I was really in shock and trying to justify her story in my head. I left halfway through work today to go to her house after she started ignoring my texts/calls. Turns out she did block me temporarily. I packed up all of her stuff in my car before I visited her, in case she confessed. I tried to have a calm conversation with her about it, and she got mad, saying I was accusing her of cheating. When I asked to see any proof that Penny existed, she freaked out when I suggested specific ways to prove it, started crying, and admitted to actively cheating on me with 2 people. The one she thought she sent the text to lives in another state, and she met him through her friend's friend while he was visiting our city last year. During this time, they went on a few dates and would make out, but it never went further than that, and some of her friends knew about it. The other was online only, but she was sexting him on FaceTime and sending nudes. I got all my stuff from her house, so I didn't need to go back later. After I left, she unblocked me and sent me, "You're throwing this away for what?" and started spamming lots of pics of us. My screenshots here start right after the many pics of us. I ended up blocking her on everything right after I sent that final text and plan on going no contact. She is already telling our mutual friends that I cheated, so I'm dreading the drama that might happen with our friend group. Her friends are texting me, saying I'm a douche for wanting to move on so quickly. I don't plan on getting into another relationship for a long time. Even the friends who knew she was going on dates with that guy are trying to rationalize it by saying it's not that bad and I'm overreacting. Plus, her mom called me to yell at me for cheating, but I explained it all to her, though I don't think she believes me. That's fine, as I'll likely never see her again. I'm just going to try to move on and maybe cut off any friends that cause more drama about it, which I'm okay with because all my main close friends believe me. Some of them said they got toxic/controlling vibes from her, but didn't want to say anything, as I wouldn't have listened or seen what they mean. Sounds about right, to be honest. I read almost every single comment, if not all, and it made me realize how subtly toxic our relationship was, even though I didn't realize until now because nothing major ever happened. I saw a comment about Darvo, and it applied to every time we had conflict. She would cry, then accuse me of something random I wasn't doing. I also saw a comment saying it seems like I'm walking on eggshells, and I now see that I was, because I always did whatever made her happy, even if it was wrong or made me upset, just so I could avoid being yelled at. I'm not usually this passive with my friends or at work, but I really loved her, so I guess I had a soft spot for her. I think I definitely got conditioned over the 4 years to become a yes man, and now I see our whole relationship and our interactions in a different way. I'm absolutely devastated that this happened, considering we were about to move in together in 2 months' time, and I was planning on proposing after a year of living together. I'm just glad I know now rather than later. Thanks again to everyone who talked sense into me, even the harsh ones, lol. I really did need it. Scaling Stories Corner. Yep, classic. The cheater is projecting and calling their significant other a cheater when they are the ones cheating. Good for OP for getting out of that relationship before moving in together, and thankfully, his girlfriend screwed up and exposed herself. It's kind of disgusting that she's not even sorry for what she did and has gone to telling their mutual friends and even her family that they broke up because OP was supposedly cheating on her, when in reality, it was the other way around. If I was OP, I would maybe send them the initial Reddit post for them to read and maybe any supporting text messages to prove that his girlfriend was the one who actually acted sus and cheated, and to clear his name. But maybe he doesn't really care about that, since people who would believe his ex-girlfriend's words without checking in on him first aren't probably good friends to him anyway. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. Commenter 1 says, "Bro, 2 people. That's rough. Sorry to hear this. But looking at her responses, her mask is fully off. She's gaslighting you to the max. Genuinely, this is narcissistic. Run for the hills, man. I know it'll hurt, but just get out of there, man, and never look back." Commenter 2 says, "She might not have had sex. Probably did with other people, but she most certainly was planning on it when she took that flight to see him for Christmas, Lamau." Commenter 3 says, "OP, no way did the guy she met up with on a few dates not go the whole way. She was just saying that, knowing if she admitted it, then there was no way back. And the friends of yours that knew about this are not your friends. Best advice is to chill a bit until you feel you're ready to go back into the dating pool. This time, be a bit stronger and don't walk on eggshells. You've just seen some people take this as weakness and exploit it. Did you also notice in her text, she slipped up and said kissed a few guys? Plural. You so did the right thing. Good luck." Okay, friends, so that concludes today's video. Leave a like and comment down below to let me know what you thought of it, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.